p.m. in Ote in the Mefwan Akono division of the Central region of Cameroon. Good evening, dear televiewers. Thank you so much for joining me tonight on today's edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast. For presentation, I am Immaculate Fogwe. The Association of Interurban Buses in the Northwest region have declared that they will defy the ban imposed on them by separatist fighters. The fighters had earlier prohibited these agencies from entering or leaving Bamenda, chief town of the Northwest region. However, civil transport agencies were deserted today as passengers fear the unknown. And away from that, the National Communication Council, NCC, warns media professionals and media houses of possible sanctions that await those who allow panelists to propagate hate speech or use derogatory statements on TV platforms. The information is contained in a press release made public by the watchdog Constitution. Those are major stories. Stay with us for details and more. Peace, peace, peace. Ahead of World Peace Day, we'll take a look at the deteriorating situation of peace in Cameroon, Africa and the globe. Babla Jonathan talked to some peace crusaders who lament over the fact that peace has become a rare commodity in several parts of the globe, especially in Cameroon, where we are hit by the over 6-year-old armed conflict in the northwest and southwest regions, in the east region precisely with the Seleka rebels, and equal in the far north region with the Boko Haram terrorist sect. His report. Let's come to this report done by Babla Jonathan ahead of World Peace Day, where we'll be taking a look at the deteriorating situation of peace in Cameroon. We'll be coming to that report in a subsequent edition of the news. We'll rather now take you to the southwest region, where traders and people who live around the Malfour Bonadikombo market in Limbe, one subdivision, are decrying the nasty state of the Malfour market. According to the traders, for the past 4 months, the state of the market has remained deplorable, exposing them to all sorts of water and airborne diseases. They are denouncing the negligence on the part of local authorities in addressing their plight. We have details with Smarty Kangable, who shows us the state of the Malfour Bonadikombo market in his report.
Inhabitants around the Malfour Bonadikombo market in the Limbe 1 subdivision are in need for an urgent solution to remedy the pungent smell they take in as a result of abandoned heaps of dirt in the market. As a result of this dirt, the traders as well as the inhabitants no longer have a normal life.
From the trash, we don't have fresh air. There's no fresh air we can have around because we don't open our doors and our windows. Our houses are ever closed.
It causes cockroaches, rats to come inside our houses due to this. It can cause us to have malaria due to all this dirt. It can cause mosquitoes to come to our houses.
The situation, which has been like this for a while, is not strange to the second deputy city mayor of Limbe Council.
Yeah, when you ask the question, I even told you, Bonakoma, I even insisted that it's around the market, which means that we are very aware. We have been there without them knowing. So if I say how fast, I don't want to give a program that will not come up, we should be very conscious of the fact that you don't tell population what you are not going to do. But be rest assured, in a very short period, something is going to be done on that affair. We are putting the problem across. The city mayor is taking the necessary measures and something will happen.
For the second deputy city mayor of Limbe Council, the current socio-political crisis in the southwest region is one of the reasons they are into this problem.
Before, we used to have a very clean town in terms of that. Isakam used to do his job very well. But above all, with the social crisis that we are facing, we know Limbe is a place where so many people have come in, and particularly in Bonadikombo.
With assurance from the authorities of the Limbe City Council, the traders and inhabitants around Malfour Bonadikombo market are now hoping to have better days, as well as those living in Limbe.
And officials of the Limbe City Council say they are working very hard to keep the town of Friendship clean. Talking to a reporter, the second deputy city mayor of Limbe Council, Kunchu Emmanuel, says the town will be cleaned, but warns inhabitants not to throw dirt haphazardly. Take a listen to him in this accent.
The council, we have talked about it, and we said already we are working with government to see that they increase the capacity of the ISACAM in their contracts in terms of tonnages, what they can carry. And I can tell you that at the moment, it's not that they are not doing more. They are even doing more than what they are supposed to do. If you were only to respect the contract, honestly, Limbe we have been smelling everywhere. So actually, we are doing that, and we also thought it wise to propose to the session, the councillors, and the deliberation was voted to find a way through other contractors who can act like subcontractors, collecting from the various places and bring it to where ISACAM will also take in the relay directly to the place. That will also give jobs to our inhabitants and reduce the quantity that are being kept around the places where populations are living. We are calling on the population to also be disciplined enough so as to make sure they throw it. So this should be a message that has to go right in our families, right in our villages, right in our meetings. Drivers who move on the street, eating in the vehicle and throwing dirt everywhere around. What do we expect? We are only building a dirty town, and tomorrow when we have illness, we start complaining. So let the population be calm. The city mayor has taken the necessary measures, and in the days ahead, I think news will be coming for what have to be done.
Kunchu Emmanuel, second deputy city mayor of the Limbe Council. Away from Limbe, we now take you to the Littoral region, where 12 suspected bandits are currently in detention right here in the city of Duala. The suspects are accused of terrorizing the population of Dogbasi village and Newbell neighborhoods. They were arrested by the judicial police in collaboration with the national security of the Littoral region. Malaglari tells us more.
The screen of vehicles damaged by these suspected individuals in the Dogbasi village and Newbell neighborhood. With the use of these deadly knives, they threaten their victims and steal from them. A situation that has made life unbearable for residents of Dogbasi and Newbell. Following numerous complaints from these locals constantly being terrorized by men of the underworld, an operation launched by the judicial police coordinated by the regional delegate for national security led to their arrest.
Of 12 alleged perpetrators of these acts. During the exploitation, these individuals explained their modus operandi and all confessed to having perpetrated several acts of aggravated theft in many districts of the city of Duala.
The 12 suspected bandits led the security forces to their homes where a thorough search was done, and their weapons used to carry out their criminal acts were all seized.
Searches carried out in their homes led a force beret, a military cap, a military belt, 42 automobile spark plugs and several pieces of automobile spark plugs. All these objects mentioned were placed under seal, accompanying the legal proceedings as evidence, as part of their referral to the Government Commissioner at the Duala Military Court for illegal possession of military clothing, aggravated theft and destruction.
The suspected bandits, aged between 20 and 34 years, are presently in detention and will be presented to the competent authorities in the days ahead for proper investigation.
We stay in the city of Duala, where road users plying the Doko-Nyala stretch of road expressed dissatisfaction over delayed rehabilitation works ongoing on the stretch for more than 3 weeks. The works, which have not been completed, has perturbed circulation. Our reporter Asielu Siliengo spoke to some road users and compiled the following report.
For more than 3 weeks, the Doko-Nyala stretch of road in the Duala 3 subdivision has been a nightmare to road users.
L'embouteillage est total. Les élèves souffrent, donc les élèves sont là, les travailleurs sont là.
The road, which is undergoing rehabilitation, has slowed down the movement of vehicles, bikes, who sometimes, with the passengers, get stuck in traffic.
Des rails là, passage à niveau jusqu'ici, j'ai fait peut-être 75 mètres, mais je suis à 45 minutes.
Just like the taxi driver, business persons who ply this road on daily basis are unable to meet up with their activities.
On ne gagne pas. On consomme plus le carburant. On ne gagne pas, on perd le temps.
In the morning, like in the evening, movement here at Nyararai is difficult.
Des fois, c'est bloqué là. Tout le monde, jusqu'à 23 heures. Les gens dorment. Qui viennent trouver les gens dans l'embouteillage.
Going through 14, Nyala Pariso, it is the same. Driving forward or backward, it's almost impossible. Road users say they are tired of the difficulties they encounter on this stretch, which so far has had no solution.
Il n'y a pas moyen d'avancer ni de rentrer, on ne peut pas rentrer. Donc ça ne vaut pas la peine.
There are fears that if nothing is done to complete the ongoing works, the situation might degenerate.
Depuis 14 heures que nous sommes ici, on va arriver à 20 heures ici.
Others suggest a secondary road would have been created to ease movement. Road users call on officials of the Ministry of Road Transport to come to their rescue.
A difficult situation for road users plying the stretch of road in the city of Duala. Now we talk culture. The Bassa, Bati and Po communities represented by the Mbombo of the Senegal Maritime Division had a meeting so as to discuss on a note signed by the Minister of Tourism. The note stipulates that their sacred cave known as Ngok Lituba should be considered as a touristic site. Our reporter Cedric Chakutio reports on that incident.
Gathered in Matom in the Nyong and Nikele division for consultation with the Bassa, Bati and Po people, the Bambombok of the Senegal Maritime say they do not agree with the note of the Minister of Tourism saying that the sacred cave of the Bassa people, called Ngo Lutumba, is to be a tourist site. We do not have the impression that the Minister of Tourism considered the consequences of his acts. Making the sacred place of Golituba into a cultural place is not a good thing. However, to the Bambombok, it is important for the Minister of Tourism to review the content of the circular because the Bambombok are not against development but want to preserve the cultural aspect of Ngok Lituba. We analyzed the note from the Minister and we saw some lackings into it. You understand with us that the document is a little bit complicated because to us, tourism is not important but our culture is much more better. All what the Bassa community want is the respect of their culture and their activities.
And now to a major lead story. Despite a joint declaration signed on September 19th by 6 suspended Interoper Transport promoters in the Northwest region to continue their activities from September 20th, none of their buses took off to the Northwest region today. At the Bonaberry Motor Park, the suspended agencies were ready to travel, but no passengers were ready to be as a sacrificial lamb on their way to Bamenda. Only boys and Oasis exempted from the suspension left for Bamenda today. We have details with our reporter, Innocent Aze.
In a joint declaration September 19, the suspension of 7 interurban transport agencies by armed separatists went into effect. Some of the transport promoters in the Northwest region declared continuation of their activities from September 20 amid severe threats. While at the Bonaberry Motor Park and other agencies in Duala, we were welcomed by stationed buses and calmness.
Actuellement, depuis un moment, depuis que le message a été passé, la plupart des agences ici à Bonaberry sont carrément garées.
Today we face a lot of difficulty for plumber job. Even play for sleep no day. How we can we no get play for sleep for ya. We let on done with the sleep in inside motor.
Even though offices were opened, passengers stayed away.
We will be ready for go, but we no get customer. We look and secretary then day for office day they wait customer for even take the one day for night, but all man get that fear. Passenger no be they come they get that fear. So all man they go now for Subway and who wants to say they say now them they walk.
Cache they open, but since morning, as I tell you, we not get more than 5 passengers and I no go get hope say to fit travel.
If some managers took a break, some were on seats to coordinate activities. Those encountered say,
well, if customer then come, we will travel because normally we don't know some crime where we don't commit.
Personally, ask them they suspend for waiting. We don't know. We know they understand. We still wait. Get hope say sometime by evening whether something was changed.
One of the travel agencies suspended, Golden Express, was seen loading for the southwest region. The branch manager and passengers refused uttering a word. In the meantime, managers of these suspended agencies hope for this suspension to be lifted.
We just wait whether any news again will come after.
While burning the hope candle, drivers bask the sun, relax in beer parlors and the waiting halls, making commentaries.
I'll be elaborating on this ban on our second part of the news, but before that, the National Communication Council says it will proceed to apply appropriate sanctions to media professionals, programs, and media houses should they continue with unethical programs, content, and casting. The warning is contained in a press release from the Watchdog Institution. It is saluted by some media professionals. Fomi Armstrong Sanda has the details.
Communications Council in its outing says it has noted with dismay a growing prevalence of inappropriate, despicable, indecent, aggressive behavior and statements during interactive programs in Cameroon lately, a reality which do not concur with either the triple functions of informing, educating and entertaining, or with the ethical requirements that underpins the media profession. Bo Elvis, international journalist and TV program host, says the outing is timely.
Going by some of the statements and some of the scenes I have been witnessing on television platforms across Cameroon in the past few weeks. We recently saw a professor insulting a journalist on live camera as a dog and threatening to slap the journalist.
He says the foundation of the attitude denounced by the National Communications Council can be attributed to the political atmosphere and the fundamentals of entry into the journalism profession in Cameroon.
Some journalists too, because they want to have views, since most debate programs are at that particular point in time, they want to bring people that can create drama, people that can create scenarios so that the debate programs will go viral and have advertisers, because they have the wrong notion that popularity is necessarily synonymous to relevance, and that is wrong.
In case the attitude persists, the National Communications Council says it will be left with no option but to apply the appropriate sanctions provided for by the law in force to any offending professionals, programs, or media organs where necessary.
And ahead of World Peace Day, we'll take a look at the deteriorating situation of peace in Cameroon, Africa, and the globe. Babla Jonathan spoke to some peace crusaders who lament over the fact that peace has become a rare commodity in several parts of the globe, like in the Anglophone regions, that is in the two English-speaking regions of Cameroon, which is rocked by the over 6-year-old armed conflict, in the Far North region, which has been hit by the Boko Haram attacks by these boys terrorists who have been causing enormous pain in the minds of this population. We have details in this report.
The 2023 Global Peace Index of the Institute for Economics and Peace shows that global peacefulness has been deteriorating since 2008. Conflicts have been increasingly threatening peace in several parts of the African continent. In Cameroon, peace has become a rare commodity, particularly in the crisis-stricken northwest, southwest, and far north regions of the country.
Very few people can claim that they are enjoying peace, semblance of peace, because violence against one man is violence against all. Injustice against one man is injustice against all.
Cameroon is not at peace. Looking into the fact that there is war that is going on in the far regions of Cameroon. In the northern regions of Cameroon, we have the Boko Haram, and also in the Anglophone regions, northwest and southwest, where there is war. And on a daily basis, in almost all the regions, we live in perpetual violence. We have registered deaths here and there.
International Peace Crusader and Tumfo barrister Nico Hale attributes the situation to poor governance and greed.
Resources that are meant for the people are in the hands of a few. And so that creates unemployment. See, in Africa, see how they are crossing the Atlantic Ocean, going to die. They are dying. They don't care where they die, but they are living greener pastures. Africa has greener pastures. I'm going to Europe, to the US. People are groaning. People are poor. That is what you should say. Miserable. It's horrible.
To him, the mishaps of yesterday and those of today must be corrected from top to bottom.
And out of Cameroon, the eldest son of ousted President Ali Bongo Ondimba has been charged for corruption. The information was made public today by the state prosecutor Andre Patrick Lupona during a press conference in Libreville, Gabon. Annabella with the details.
Since the military seized power in Gabon after the presidential election, declaring the then incumbent Ali Bongo as winner, the socio-political tension in the Central African country is still to die down completely. In a press conference in Libreville on Wednesday, September 20, the country's state prosecutor declares that the eldest son, Noureddin Bongo, of the now ousted President Ali Bongo, alongside several of his political allies, have been charged with corruption. The state prosecutor Andre Patrick Lupona read out Noureddin's name with those of other Gabonese accused. Most of them were close to the Bongo dynasty.
À la suite de la proclamation des résultats des élections générales du 26 août 2023 et des événements qui s'en sont suivis, une enquête a été ouverte, aboutissant à l'interpellation des nommés Yann Ghislain Ngoulou, Noureddin Bongo Valentin.
31-year-old Noureddin Bongo Valentin was arrested shortly after last month's coup d'etat. Earlier, the Gabonese national television Gabon 24 showed him and some of his father's close persons with suitcases filled with cash worth hundreds of billions of francs CFA.
C'est le lieu de rappeler ici que les enquêtes se poursuivent et pourraient déboucher sur des inculpations supplétives et d'autres interpellations sont en cours. Je vous remercie.
All these events are happening at the time the country begets a new Prime Minister, Raymond Ndongsima, who was a former opposition leader to the Bongo regime.
That's it for the first part of the news. Talking Point is up next. Once more, thank you so much for staying with us on Talking Point tonight. Transport agencies who got banned from working along the northwest region by separatist fighters from working from September 19 till further notice have unanimously agreed to resume activities from September 20th, violating the separatist warning that circulated on social media. This comes after grounded activities on Tuesday, a day the order took effect, and analyzing how the ban will affect the population of the northwest region, I'll be receiving a civil society activist and is no other person than Mark Anthony. Good evening to you. We'd like to know what could have prompted the fighters to take such a decision, given that not all agencies were banned from entering the northwest region.
Okay, thank you again, Immaculate, for this question. I feel kind about the question, though I'm going to attempt an answer. I am not in the minds of the separatists to know what prompted them. But I don't think it is a good decision either to even impose sanctions on anybody. So struggling to impose sanctions or might be suspend travel agencies from operating is evil in itself. And so I don't know why they did that and why they did not suspend all the agencies. This, in one way or the other, will send wrong information to the community, where some individuals, for example, considering the fact that Sawboys and ORCs were not included in the list, the other agencies could see them as the reason why the separatists decided to impose sanctions and suspended the others from operating in the region. And that would be bad signal. And as a result of that, the fact that ORCs and Sawboys decided to not operate along with the other agencies is what I salute. Working in solidarity. The solidarity is what is important. But I don't know if the Amber Boys, the separatists, did this because maybe they were paid by somebody, or maybe it was just because they wanted to promote the businesses from the Northwest region. I don't know the main reason. But if it is because somebody, one of the agencies had gone out and paid in order to gain the business in the region, then it's a crime in itself.
Mark Anthony, the concerned agencies took days before coming out of the courageous memo in defiance of the lockdown imposed. Should we say consultations were being made?
Immaculate Fogwe, yes, I want to believe that there was a consultation that took place. You know, it is but normal that when maybe something comes like that, you should be shocked in the first place, because we're not expecting that they will be targeted, because that's targeting. That means the separatists decided to target transport agencies, and on trying to target transport agencies, they did not take into consideration the very economic effects on the citizens, as well as the very businesses of the people, and also the various activities of citizens in the nation. Even if you were given the opportunity to lead, I mean the separatists, the question we should be asking them is it by using draconian strategies like they are using that will cause the people to celebrate them? No. At the moment, each one of them is on the list of Cameroonians. And I want to say this. The consultation that these agencies did came as a result of the fact that they didn't see just one agency being banned or might be suspended or whatsoever. Should I use the word suspended? Yes. They discovered that there were more than 5, 6, or 7 of them. So in this case, they can stand together because unity is strength. And choosing to consult permitted them to come out with a memo that actually speaks their voice. They came out this time as one, saying that we refuse to succumb to any imposition by the separatists. They said that out of the strength of unity, not out of strength of individuals. If they work together, they will succeed. But as individuals, they will fail. And this is the first time the separatists are receiving a memo coming from citizens defiling their so-called lockdown or imposition or suspension. And this, to me, is what I think at the moment citizens of the region should be doing, because it is too much. Enough is enough.
Due to time constraints, we won't be able to continue with our interview session. And that's what put a cap to today's edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinoxe Television. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for your keen attention. Have a wonderful evening in the company of more interesting programs on ETV.
Equinoxe Télévision, au-delà de l'image, nous rendons compte.
Du lundi à vendredi sur Equinoxe Télévision.
Bienvenue sur le plateau Equinoxe Soir, votre décryptage quotidien de l'actualité.
Vous me dites 15 millions, 20 millions, une vingtaine, une trentaine de millions, monsieur Ndigal. Vous êtes sérieux dans ce pays où des gens peuvent se construire une résidence à 2 milliards?
On devrait faire le procès de nos ministres. On devrait faire le procès du président de la République pour qu'ils comprennent que le vivre ensemble,